We always end our long meeting with this: "Hey, do you have any ideas?" Why is it so hard to come up with a good idea? It seems like other people have great ideas. How on earth does a person who is good at coming up with ideas create them? Like a car assembly line, there is actually a clear process of coming up with an idea. There are techniques to be followed the same way, and it takes a great deal of practice to use them effectively. However, this process is too simple for many people to believe, and it is difficult to put it into practice. But obviously, all you have to do is follow this sequence and the ideas will come out. Let's define the concept of the idea first to gain a good understanding of this way of production. Frankly, the idea is nothing more than a new combination of old elements. The ability to combine old elements anew hinges on the ability to see the essence, and frankly, ideas are nothing more than a new combination of old ones. The ability to fuse old elements together depends on the ability to see the essence. However, some people see one fact as a part of its essence and combine it with another to perfect it. One fact is not that it matters, but that it identifies its essence. If you practice the next 5 steps repeatedly, you will be able to learn them naturally, but let's follow them in order. One note is that the sequence of the 5 steps cannot be reversed, and only if you follow them in turn can ideas be created. Step 1 is the collection of data. Most people ignore this simple truth. When I ask them to come up with an idea, they don't systematically search for the data, they just sit there and wait for it to come up. If you don't know what to look for, just collect 2 data. The first is about the product you are proposing, and the second is about the person you're selling it for. If the 2 are properly investigated, it can be said that 90% of the investigation is done. Step 2 is to try your best to come up with an idea. Even if it seems trivial, you should write it down without hesitation. If you think for so long, you'll get tired. If you become bored and feel hopeless, you are past step 2. The key to step 2 is to think it over and over. Step 3 is, interestingly enough, to completely forget the problem. Don't think about the problem. If you have not gone through the steps 1 and 2 properly, then the idea will not come out in this 3rd step where you have to forget everything. Let's forget about problems and relax our heads by stimulating our imagination and feelings. Listening to music, watching movies, and reading novels are all good. If you follow these 3 steps faithfully, the 4th step will appear. You'll not know where it came from, but an idea will pop up. A characteristic of stage 4 is that an idea comes to mind at a time when you couldn't imagine. You may get an idea while sleeping, shaving, or taking a bath. Ideas come up barely after when you have given up the search and rest. The last step is to apply the newly born ideas in reality. Ideas that used to look like geniuses when they first came to mind often look strange over time. This is because most ideas are at odds with reality. Accordingly, it is necessary to make persistent efforts to create a consensus to fit the reality. But at this very stage, great ideas are simply abandoned. The most obvious way to save your ideas from this phase is not to keep them hidden, but to expose them to criticism. Great ideas have an insidious character, so a person who sees them is stimulated to add something new to them. So it creates new possibilities even for the person who came up with the idea. If you repeat this 5-step thinking process many times, you'll end up becoming an idea bank. However, the exercise is difficult and boring, but there is no better way to come up with ideas than this. So let's repeat it again. How to brainstorm. Collect everything related to the problem at hand and that enriches common sense. Try to extract the idea to the maximum until it is no longer available. Let's forget the problem. Cool your head by doing something else. Ideas are actually created. Accept criticism through sharing your idea to make it practical to use.